I've been playing Zildjian cymbals since the mid-'60s. They were really the first cymbal that I ever played as a young drummer. I started playing the drums in 1963, and I started with more or less an old school approach. My teacher had me use a practice pad for 2 years while I learned the rudiments and learned how to read and learned some of the fundamentals of drumming, and I worked my way up to a snare drum. And then after 3 years, I got a drum set. And I ended up working for a local newspaper and saving up my money so I could buy my Zildjian cymbals. Now, in the 60s, there really wasn't a whole lot of cymbal companies around. Zildjian was the main cymbal company in all the world, and so it was very obvious for me to play Zildjian cymbals. All my favorite drummers played Zildjian cymbals, and that was just the sound that I grew up with. And I have always loved the sound of the Zildjian cymbals and still do. And I've been especially happy with the sounds of the K Zildjian when they started to bring the K Zildjian sound into the cymbal line. So when I started off in the 60s and the 70s, it was all A Zildjians, and they were really the only line they made, but it was a fantastic line of cymbals and what I used really to play all styles of music. And then in the mid-'80s, they started making the K Zildjian cymbals, and right away I started using those. I was still playing with Journey at the time, and I switched over to some K rides and some K crashes. And one of the things I find interesting about the whole history of Zildjian is they're the company that named all the cymbals that we have. When, in the 1920s and the 30s, when jazz was first being developed, and the cymbals were used to play jazz, they were all about this size and maybe a little bit larger. They didn't really have any particular names other than cymbals. And so as soon as people started saying that they were riding and developing cymbals that they wanted to make a little bit bigger, they developed a cymbal that they called the ride cymbal, the crash cymbal, the splash, and the hi-hats. And these were, all Zildjian innovations that were a response to what the drummers were needing to hear at the time. And so the cymbal line definitely developed. And of course, we know the China cymbal had been around for many, many years, but then Zildjian came up with their version of it, and the swish and the pang and the various different incarnations and different versions of those cymbals sort of came, and some of them went. I have a cymbal setup that it's a mixture of the Ks, the As, and the hybrids. So if we go through my cymbal setup, my main ride cymbal is a K medium dark ride. And I use this for most things. I've used the Constantinople rides for a lot of things. And in fact, I use the Constantinople flat ride, 20-inch flat ride. And over here I have an 18-inch crash. It's the K Custom Hybrid crash. And I tend to like very, very thin crash cymbals, so I don't have to hit them very hard and they open up easily. And I match my crash cymbals. I usually have two 18s or two 19s. And so to match this one, I have an 18 over here, but it's the Armin thin crash. And all the cymbals over here are the Armin series. I have the 19-inch beautiful baby Armin Zildjian ride cymbal over here, the 14-inch Armin hi-hats, and this splash cymbal is also one of the K hybrid splash cymbals. So This is my fundamental cymbal setup. I change it depending on the music that I'm playing, but this works for most situations. So I've been extremely happy as a Zildjian endorser, and look forward to many more years of some very interesting cymbal innovations from Zildjian.